Hey friends, and welcome to a brand new video all about Garten of Banban 8, the highly anticipated new chapter in the craziest and creepiest horror series of recent years. Today I've got two fresh official news updates straight from the Euphoric Brothers official Discord server. Yes, I'm talking about Faris and GHEPO, the developers behind Garten of Banban series. And believe me, these are not messages to ignore, because one of them is connected to the game's release date, while the other confirms the arrival of a brand new game screen in this 8th chapter, even though the image hasn't been revealed yet. These messages are short but explosive, and if you know how to read between the lines, they might actually tell us when Garten of Banban 8 is coming out and what creepy surprises are waiting for us. But before we dive into the details, subscribe to the channel because here you'll find real-time updates on Garten of Banban 8, official news, trailer breakdowns, theories, and of course the full gameplay as soon as it's released. And don't forget to leave a like on this video if you're also super curious to discover what new monsters and secrets the Euphoric Brothers are cooking up. In this video, we're going to look at exactly what Faris and GHEPO wrote and figure out what they're trying to tell us. Finally, the Euphoric Brothers are back with a lot of information. So get ready to discover the latest dark truths that are bringing us closer and closer to the release of Garten of Banban 8. Are you ready? Let's start right away with the first message, the message wrote by GHEPO. Let's start right away with the first official message. This first message was written by GHEPO, one of the two Euphoric brothers. And friends, even though it's just one sentence, its content is really important. GHEPO wrote, "Chapter 8 will have a new death screen." This sentence may sound simple, but in reality, it marks a very significant shift for the series. Why is that? Because until now, in all the previous chapters of Garten of Banban, the death screen has always been the same, unchanged. A very basic screen with a dark background and the usual line telling us to press E to respawn. No special animations, no spooky vibes, just a screen that felt more temporary than final. But now, with the release of Chapter 8, things are finally changing. We're finally getting a brand new death screen. And that tells us a lot about how the series is evolving. As we've seen from the earlier teasers, the Euphoric Brothers are clearly trying to raise the overall quality of the game. They're working hard to make Garten of Banban richer, more polished, and packed with small improvements that make the game more immersive and professional. And the fact that they decided to change even the death screen proves they're really focusing on every tiny detail. This new death screen might be more cinematic, maybe with custom animations, new sound effects, creepy visuals, or even different lines depending on which monster kills you. So yeah, it's a small hint, but behind it hides a much bigger transformation. And now get ready, because the second message reveals new information about the new death screen. Message number 2. This message also comes from GHEPO, who never disappoints when it comes to giving us little hints about what's coming in the next chapter. And once again, with just a few words, he's told us something incredibly important. The message is one which I can describe as dynamic. This is huge, because it officially confirms that the new death screen won't be static, like the ones we've seen in the past. But instead, it will be dynamic. That means we could have animated scenes, movement, transitions, and maybe even horror-themed effects that make the death experience much more immersive and scary. Think about it. Up to Chapter 7, every time we died, we always saw the same black screen with the same message. And that's it. Very simple, almost temporary. But now, things are changing. The fact that GHEPO used the word dynamic tells us that they're working on adding more atmosphere, more tension, and more style, even in brief moments like the death screen. And that's not all. This detail connects perfectly with what we already know about Chapter 8. It's going to be a much more horror-focused chapter with much more attention to visuals. So the idea of having a horror-themed death screen, maybe with monsters appearing, creepy sounds, or flashing red lights, would fit perfectly with this new direction. Imagine how much scarier it would be to die in a dark setting with a dynamic screen that maybe even changes depending on which enemy killed you. A truly chilling experience, but it doesn't stop there, because if they're improving the death screen, it's very likely that other screens in the game will also be redesigned. One of them, the clock screen, the one you see when we start the chapter. In the past chapters, it was very simple, but it could become something much more interesting, maybe with animations or dynamic backgrounds there too. So friends, get ready for a real evolution in this new chapter. And now we've reached the theory section. Yes, because now that we know the death screen will be new and dynamic, we can start imagining what it might look like in the game. And trust me, there are so many exciting possibilities. One of the most interesting theories is that there could be a different screen for every type of death. Think about it. In Garten of Banban games, we can die in different ways. Sometimes we fall into the void, Other times we're caught by one of the antagonists, or we make a mistake during a minigame or while escaping. And what if in Garten of Banban 8, each type of death had its own custom screen? For example, if we fall into the void, we might see a screen where we're falling endlessly into darkness, with visual effects that create a deep falling sensation. But if we get caught by one of the monsters, we could get a different screen for each enemy, maybe with a short animation or a creepy phrase linked to that specific character. Imagine how creepy it would be to get caught and immediately see a personalized screen with that character's eyes or hear one of their disturbing lines. That would make every death unique, scary, and also memorable, and it would be another strong sign that the Euphoric brothers are working hard to improve and make the experience more immersive. Of course, all of this is still just theory and speculation, nothing has been officially confirmed yet. But since GHEPO already said it's going to be a dynamic screen, and knowing that Chapter 8 will be more horror focused and visually refined, it's definitely not impossible that they've planned something like this. In fact, it would also be a great opportunity to show more personality from the enemies, even after they defeat us. Maybe each screen could have its own visual style, a unique sound, or even a short animated game over scene. And one thing is for sure, the death screen will no longer be that boring, identical, atmosphere-less thing we saw in the previous chapters. And now we come to another very important confirmation. This time it's not GHEPO speaking, but Faris, the other Euphoric brother, and he also decided to give us a clear and direct message. Faris officially confirmed that Chapter 8 of Garten of Banban will be released in 2025. Yes, you heard that right. This year. This means there will be no delays to 2026, and we won't have to wait months and months like many feared. The game is coming, and actually, as we've already said in previous videos, it's just around the corner. All the clues make us believe that Garten of Banban 8 will most likely come out in August. Think about it. The trailer has already been released, full of details and scenes from the new chapter. The new screens are being finalized, the messages on Discord are becoming more and more frequent, and now we have the confirmation of the release year. So, what's missing? Only one thing, the official announcement of the exact date. And here we have good news too, because according to what the Euphoric brothers wrote themselves, this date will be announced very soon. It could be a matter of days, or at most a few weeks. The important thing is that we are finally getting there. The final phase has begun. So the only thing left to do is wait a little longer and get ready. The countdown for Garten of Banban 8 has officially started. Alright friends, we have reached the conclusion of this video. Today we looked at two very important official messages from the Euphoric brothers, Faris and GHEPO, who finally gave us some more details about Garten of Banban 8. We discovered that in the next chapter there will be a new death screen, which will be dynamic and probably much more detailed and scary compared to the ones we've seen so far. Also, we have the official confirmation that the game will be released in 2025, so this year, and as we already anticipated in previous videos, it is very likely that the release date will be in August. The trailer is already out and the official announcement of the date will arrive soon, so we just have to stay alert and prepare ourselves for this new chapter that promises to be truly spectacular. Thank you so much for being here with me to follow this news. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a big like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any updates on Garten of Banban 8. If you have ideas, questions, or theories to share, feel free to write them in the comments. I always love reading what you think and discussing with you. Stay curious, keep your eyes open, and get ready to enter the dark and terrifying world of Garten of Banban 8. Bye bye.